In honor of Dia de los Muertos, we are going to look at how to create a sugar skull in Illustrator using shapes, shape builder, and a couple new tools that we haven't learned already. What you need to do is, if you do not already have Illustrator open and your document created, please go ahead and do so. Remember the document size for this project, 12 by 16 inches. Once you have your document open, hit Command 0, not Command O, but Command 0 so that your artboard is centered in your page. Also make sure that you have saved and named your file properly. Period number, last name, first initial, underscore, and then sugar skull, which is the name of the assignment. So our sugar skull is going to be symmetrical. That means exactly the same on the left as it is on the right. How are we going to do that? Well, we need to set up a center point grid to get started. So I'm going to hold down on the line segment tool and choose the rectangular grid tool. Going to click here on my center point, and rectangular grid tool options come up. Our artboard is 12 by 16, so you want to change your default size to 12 by 16 inches, and we want one horizontal divider and one vertical divider, and then choose OK. Now if your grid is offset like mine, that's why we have this magic align tool over here. So we're going to click align, and we want to make sure that this says that you have the option shown, so show options, and then we want to align to artboard, and we want to align our object horizontally and align our object vertically. Rename our layer to grid and lock it. Let's create a new layer. I'm going to hold Option as I click on new layer, so it will open up my layer options window, and I can name it in one step sugar skull, and I'm going to click OK. Next thing we need is a rectangle tool, and I'm going to make sure there's no fill and a black stroke. No fill and a black stroke. I'm going to click on my artboard, and I want my rectangle to be 2 inches smaller on each side than our artboard. So our artboard was 12 by 16. We want this to be 10 by 14. And click OK. Again, let's center and center. Then we're going to round our corners all the way in like that. And if I click off, you can start to see that's going to be the top part of our skull. What we need to do is cut off the bottom part. So we're going to take a rectangle tool, and right along our grid line here, we're going to cut that in half, and we're going to drag below the bottom of the rounded rectangle, something like that. I'm going to hold the Shift key and have the selection tool selected, then hold the Shift key, click on our first shape. Now both are selected, and we are going to take our shape builder tool, option on the mouse, and we are going to subtract the bottom part so that we're left with the top part of the skull. Next up, we're going to take rectangle tool again. We need to create the jaw of the skull, so I'm going to click on my artboard somewhere, and I want this to be smaller by 2 inches. So the last one was 10. We're going to make this 8, and then we'll make the height 10 inches. So 8 by 10, and click OK. Again, horizontal align center, vertical align center. We're going to take our, well, we don't need a selection, we can just round the corners right here, something like that. Then I'm going to take the selection tool, hold Shift, select both shapes, we're going to come over to Pathfinder. And Pathfinder is an alternative to the Shape Builder. It's right below our Align tools. And one of these shape modes right here is called Unite. It's going to combine the shapes. We can turn our grid off for now, and you can see that we have the start of a skull. Last thing for our skull outline, well, second to last thing, we're going to do two more things. Let's highlight these 2 points, hold Shift on the keyboard, highlight those 2 anchor points, and then I'm going to take the live circle here and drag out so that we get a rounded skull. And lastly, select my shape and up the stroke to 10 points. So we have a nice thick stroke. Hit Command S to save. Now we have ourselves a sugar skull outline.